can remove these features and then make shorter examples like less road networks, import it, and then maybe the primary roads, maybe the less information is there, primary roads. So still it's take time. So I believe it will be the faster. There's less informations. It's still processing. Yes, you see the really less information. This is really faster. That's we expected. And you have the export functionalities, even though you can export KMLs or other formats, and then you can, as all the features, and then you have see that you can minimize, map out, and this information, individual networks, and then it's the visualize show in, show out these informations. So major road networks, we just subtract it and we put it here. So depending the use cases, and then so on and so forth. You can also the 3D visualizations, and then you can plot it like that way. So you can rotate it and then 2D and then 3D. So you can visualize. So we got the idea what I mean. How can you produce? That means we started our we put it our geospatial data set in the PostGIS database, and then we published our data into the PostGIS in GeoServer, and then we from the GeoServer we export the KML, GML, and other formats, and then after that what format you need and what's the tools you try to visualize the things together, and depending on the your use cases, and we can these cases we find some use cases for to be give it to you the presentation ideas and concept to how can you produce the KML and the KML files or KML sets files, and then visualize this data into the Google Earth, and then give it to the possibilities. How can you handle, how can you manipulate, how can you do this, do your jobs properly. That's the intention for this one. So we got the clear idea what I mean. How can, if someone who's not clear, then please subscribe the channels and then get the other screencasts that we have it with the different technologies, with the Java based and JavaScript based, framework based, and with the leaflet and open layers. Just follow that one, and then you can get the clear idea of what I mean. How can you do it, this one. So go back to the presentation that we already have it. So presentation part, this we already discussed about this, the presentation part. What presentations, sorry, this is the presentation part. So we cover all part of the informations: geospatial database, GeoServer, publishing the services, and produce some KML files and KML data, and then visualize the GeoServer. And this case, this is our generic approach. From this service, you can use other Google Maps, OpenStreetMaps to visualize geospatial data. That's we will talk about our previous screencast that's covering this, and also the basic understanding HTML and CSS and JavaScript and so on and so forth. So now what I can do, we will continue the further implementation for the different possibilities of the Google Earth. How can you analyze, how can you visualize your geospatial data as a 2D and 3D formats. Two-dimensional means three-dimensional formats with the height informations, with the control informations in the geometry, and then you can do more complicated work with the with the Google Earth also, even though Google Maps or OpenStreetMaps or Yahoo Maps or Bitmaps, depending what type of maps your company is using, what type of technology you are trying to use it. That's the intention. For we are continuing for all the stack of developments, like for the Java based developments, and also the other Grails based development or other front-end development frameworks like C or Pythons or other frameworks, or any React or any Angulars or any mobile based platform. That's one of the plan we try to do in the next screencast, to how can you integrate the geospatial or GIS mapping or programming with the Android and other ISO platform. That's our new future plan to do it, but we didn't have enough time to implement those screencasts, but we already implement some features and functionalities from the with the mobile platforms. And then if it is done, then we try to share with you, and then you can also share with your ideas and concept. How can we work together to implement, or to how can we learn together to implement these features. So now I can say, please subscribe the channels and write down your comments, share with friends and colleagues, and then we will try our best to come up with our best solutions, our best optimum and best solution for this for geospatial or GIS, web GIS programmings, and then or web mapping programming with all the technology stack that we learn it, and then you already learn it, or you can learn it from our side, or we can learn it from your side. Just write down your ideas and concept. Now I can say bye bye, goodbye, and see you later.